Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we got a juicy dragon's egg. Now, you've probably heard a couple of dragon's eggs going on lately. We've got Rick Ptak doing a series for us. Rick is our resident foreman training expert and an expert in a bunch of other things too. But today, what we're going to be talking about is the dragon's egg of rework and go back and punch lists are killing me. They are killing me and costing me money. So Rick and I are going to tease that apart in a nice, short little episode. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you on the other side. Rick Ptak, how are you?
I'm great, Dom. How you doing?
I am fantastic. I'll tell you, I love this dragon's eggs thing you've introduced to us. It's got good visuals.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Today, you and I are going to be talking about rework and go backs and punch lists and how they're killing guys. But before we get to that, can you tell us a little bit, like, who the heck are you?
Well, I'm a cabinet maker, and on your team, Dom, I'm the guy who is teaching the foreman and leadership training, and so I do that. And I'm also the lean and continuous improvement sort of guru.
That's right.
Yeah. I've got some lean black belt training, train the trainer for techniques and tools that are used traditionally in lean and continuous improvement. And the other thing I do is I'm a community manager for the social media group, Contractor Strategy Group. So trying to engage folks there and get them interested in joining Contractor Strategy Group and, comment
getting value.
See the great stuff we're posting, a lot of valuable stuff that we post on there. We get some good engagements and suggestions from sharing from other folks who are in the contractor business, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for reminding me of that. Anybody listening, by the way, if you're already on Facebook, you should apply to join the Contractor Strategy Group. Rick, as he said, is the community manager. And man, you've done a really great job of keeping the conversation lively and focused. We've touched on so many topics. And anyways, we'll leave that for another thing. Today, though, the dragon's egg you want to share with us is about rework, go backs, and punch lists, and they're killing people and they're costing them money. Let me put it in your hands. What's the situation and what's the solution?
Well, rework we know happens. Go backs, defects, right? We know that's a waste, and the customer's not willing to pay for that. I mean, obviously you have to repair it, fix it, whatever you need to do, replace it, go in and cover the warranty, whatever the case may be. But it never ceases to amaze me that when I talk to a lot of these contractors and people that are producing things for people, and there is rework or warranty issues or punch lists, they didn't have enough time to do it right the first time. The process wasn't followed, or so they had no time to do it right the first time, but they find all kinds of time to do it right the second time. And why is that? Because of course now the customer or the user, the end user that needs it, they need it fixed. So you're going to throw all kinds of resources at it, so that you can fix it, that you can make the customer happy, so that they sign off on the punch list, the architect, the general contractor, where the case may be, so that you can invoice them and get paid for it, right? So that there's no holdbacks. I mean, obviously, but there's a whole section in there that we don't do a good job on typically, is to say, okay, rework happened, but why did it happen? I need to know why it happened. And if I ask why, and usually you have to ask it a few times, up to 5, 6, 7 times sometimes, to really get to the root cause.
Yeah.
Once you know the root cause, then we can change something in our process or provide some additional training to those folks so that it doesn't happen again. And if it doesn't happen again, that's a win, isn't it? Because
that's
now
a huge win.
I don't have that waste happening again, right? So again, we have to think about it. If you have a big punch list, a deficiency list, punch list, that means things weren't done to the expectation of the client. So was the shop drawing not followed? Did I not have competent people installing it? Was there damages done by another trade that really aren't my responsibility? But then how do I prove that so I can at least get paid for having to go in and do that work again? So there's all kinds of things that have to be determined. We need to know. And really, when I teach the foreman training, leadership training, foremans are and the supervisors are really
they're right at the coal face, aren't they?
They're the ones that need to be finding out what happened, why. I worked for an owner that he would continuously pull me into his office, on a daily basis, and he'd ask me, "Okay, why did this happen? What happened out here?" And I better have the answers. I needed to have the answers. So I was, I had a great mentor because then I dug in and found out for him, and then I had the answer for him. So
you knew that
we
the
need to
question
know
was
what
going
that.
to come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people listening, this is exactly what we talk about. The foreman training is really leadership training. It's giving the people on our team the tools, the chops to be able to go out and find those answers for us. So you as the owner don't have to run around and chase every single question. You should be building a couple of trusted people around you, foreman, supervisor as an example, who can go and find out those answers. The rework actually costs money, not just heartache and stress and broken promises, but rework costs you money. There's a cost to sending somebody back. And Rick, it's never an hour.
Well, my rule of thumb is if it happens in your manufacturing facility and you catch it before it gets loaded on the truck or goes out to the door to the client, it costs you 3 times the selling price of what it is you're fixing.
Yike.
Right?
Yeah.
If it goes to the customer, you install it, and then you find out it's 6 times the selling cost of that. So that's huge, right?
And it doesn't matter whether you're installing fences and decks and pergolas or roofing, windows, siding, doors, or cabinets. It doesn't matter. There's always a cost.
There's administrative costs because you've got to purchase new material. There's wear and tear on the equipment. You have to build it over again. There's labor costs, obviously, right? All the overhead costs to do it over again. But not only that, you have just stolen money and time from your schedule for work that you could actually get paid for and to do it right the first time.
That's right.
So, right? Because obviously, and I had one company that they actually scheduled 3% of their sales every year for rework. And I say, why would you do that? Like, you're not getting paid extra
instead of trying to fix it.
Just figure out how to do it better. So instead of have 3%, you only have 1.5% of your sales as rework, right? So that's the 50% reduction I always talk about. We talk about that in the foreman training too.
In the training,
those tips and techniques.
Well, I think half the time is being able to talk about these things with other people is how you sound them out. And for you talked about the foreman training. There's another one coming up soon. By the way, if anybody's interested in joining Rick and I for the next foreman training, send us a note. And then you have to apply to get in. It's not just come one, come all. Shoot me a text message. My cell phone is 604-837-8361. Just use the keyword foreman. And then Rick and I will send you the application. We'll review the application, and then we'll tell you when the next foreman training call. But the next foreman training call is coming up the info call. Sorry.
Yeah.
The info call is coming up pretty quick.
Yeah. February 7th.
Feb 7th. Hey, why do we do an info call first and not just register people straight in?
Well, the info call is meant for the owner and their team to be there, so that the leaders, the foreman, the supervisors, or your potential lead hand that you want to build into a supervisor, and you're going to learn what it is that the course is all about. What are you going to get from the course? What is the value for your team? So we're gonna go through the agenda. We're gonna go through what we're gonna relay to your folks over the 6 weeks, which is how long that foreman training is. And then you can go and decide and talk amongst your team. Is it a good fit for us? And if so, then you're going to let us know that you're going to register. And if it isn't a good fit, well, then it's not a good fit for you. It has to be of value to you. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense for you to join it.
But either way, the conversation is started. Because if the owner wants that conversation to start, maybe just starting the conversation is the value. Even if your team goes, we're not ready right now, the conversation has started. Now you've tabled it. And maybe the next time we run a training next year or something, then maybe your team will be ready for it then, but you've already planted that seed.
Yeah, right.
Rick, thank you. That Dragon's Egg was fantastic because go back, rework, punch lists, whatever we call it, it causes frustration. We know it costs money. And the other thing that it costs is something soft, which is the relationship with the customer goes down just a little bit. Everything was perfect except this happened. And I want that second call from that GC or from that homeowner. And if if all they remember is that rework bit, they're not going to call me back. They're not going to refer me to their friends. And if they do, they'll say, everything was great, but
Yeah.
We don't want any buts here.
No buts.
No buts. Hey, Rick, that reminds me. I'll say this one more time and then I'll make another suggestion to people. If you want to get in on the foreman training, text me directly, 604-837-8361, and just say foreman. Now, if you're wondering what a go back actually costs you in your company, so what does it cost for 1 hour of time in your company? You're going to be surprised, but I have a little calculator if somebody's interested. Let me just tack this onto this. Shoot me a text message, same number, and just use the word go back, and then I'll send you the calculator. It's an easy Excel spreadsheet. It's one page. It's box A, gives you box B, gives you box C, gives you box D, all the way down to box H. And then that spits out your actual number as a business for 1 hour of going back. And sometimes attaching a number to this makes it a little more important.
Changes the motivation level.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick, let's wrap it up here and keep this Dragon's Egg nice and short. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well. Thank you for joining us for this special, cool episode of the podcast. Today, we jumped into the topic that really burns so many of us, gets in our minds, makes us frustrated. It's why we're losing money on the job sites. It's why we're not profitable, even though we think we're going to be profitable going in, because we've got go backs, because we've got rework, because we don't know the cost of an hour of our time. And we're not able to communicate that back to our team and help them understand that we've got to get back in control of this rework. Now, Rick talked about a couple of strategies here. We're going to go over way more of those in the leadership training session. But look, in the meantime, if you want to join us for the foreman, the leadership training, send the keyword foreman. Send me the keyword foreman and send that to my cell, which is 604-837-8361. Just use the keyword foreman, and then we'll send you the application back so that you can join us. And then I made another offer there as well. If anybody's interested, if you want to know the actual cost to your company of a go back, of doing 1 hour of punch list work, what a 1 hour call out is, what rework is actually costing you per hour, then I've got a very simple calculator. It's really easy, fill in the boxes type thing, but it'll tell you the actual cost of an hour in your company. And then once you've got that info, once you've got good data, you can make decisions. For that, just send me, again, text message is the easy way, 604-837-8361. And the keyword for that is go back. There you go. All right, folks, thanks for checking in. We'll see you in the next episode.